The year is 1944. The air in Normandy smells of gunpowder and fear. I was just a boy, really, 19. My name is Arthur, and I was supposed to be a hero. My rifle felt heavier than a tombstone, and every explosion rattled my bones, shaking loose the brave words my father had said to me. "Do us proud, son." But pride felt very far away in that trench. One night, the shelling was relentless. The sky was a constant, blinding flash, and the screams never stopped. I saw my friend Thomas, a kid from my hometown who loved to draw birds, get torn apart. In that moment, something inside me snapped. This wasn't heroism. This was a meat grinder, and I refused to be the next piece of meat. So, I ran. I didn't think, I just ran, away from the front line, away from the noise, away from the dying. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs gave out, collapsing in a dark, unfamiliar forest. For 2 days, I survived on fear and a half-eaten chocolate bar. I was a ghost, a deserter, a coward. The words echoed in my head, but the silence of the woods was better than the symphony of death I'd left behind. On the third day, I stumbled upon a small, dilapidated farmhouse, almost swallowed by overgrown ivy. I was desperate. I knocked, expecting a French farmer with a shotgun, ready to turn me in. Instead, the door creaked open to reveal a woman. Her name was Helene. Her eyes held a deep sadness, but no fear. She looked at my tattered uniform, my wild eyes, and simply said, "Entresse, come in." Helene had lost her husband and son in the early days of the war. Her home was a sanctuary of sorrow, and now it was my refuge. She hid me in a small, concealed cellar behind a stone wall in her pantry. It was cramped and smelled of damp earth and potatoes, but it was safe. She would bring me food, watery soup, stale bread, whatever she could spare. She never asked about the war, and I never spoke of it. We existed in a silent agreement, two souls haunted by the same conflict. My world shrank to the size of that cellar. Days blurred into nights. I would listen to the floorboards creak above me, Helene's soft footsteps, my only connection to the living world. Sometimes, I'd hear German patrols marching down the road, their harsh voices sending ice through my veins. I'd hold my breath, pressing myself against the cold stone, praying they wouldn't find me. The guilt was a physical weight. I was alive while my brothers in arms were dying. Was this survival, or just a slower death? Helene would sometimes talk to me through the small gap in the wall. She'd tell me about her son, who loved to build model airplanes. She'd describe the changing seasons I couldn't see. Her voice was my lifeline, but I could see the toll it was taking on her. Sharing her meager rations, the constant fear of being discovered. She was risking her life for a stranger, a coward. One evening, I heard shouting from the house. German voices, sharp, angry. My heart hammered against my ribs. I could hear Helene's calm, measured replies, but the soldiers were getting louder, more aggressive. Then, a crash. The sound of something being thrown. I knew they were searching the house. I was trapped. It was over. I braced myself, my hands shaking uncontrollably. This was it, a bullet in the cellar. A fitting end for a deserter. I heard their heavy boots on the kitchen floor, right above my head. The pantry door creaked open. They were just feet away. I closed my eyes, picturing Thomas and his bird drawings. Then I heard Helene's voice, firm and clear. She was speaking in German. I couldn't understand the words, but the tone was desperate, pleading. It was followed by a man's gruff laugh. Then the sound of the pantry door closing, and their boots stomping out of the house. Silence. A long, heavy silence. After what felt like an eternity, the cellar door opened. Helene stood there, her face pale, a dark bruise forming on her cheek. She didn't say anything. She just handed me a piece of bread and a cup of water. In that moment, I understood. She wasn't just hiding me. She was protecting the memory of her son. In saving me, she was saving a small piece of the world that the war was trying to destroy. I stayed in that cellar for 8 more months. 8 months of darkness, fear, and shame, punctuated by moments of profound human kindness. When the news of the liberation finally came, brought by Helene, with tears in her eyes, the feeling wasn't joy. It was a heavy, complicated relief. Stepping out into the sunlight for the first time was blinding. The war was over, but my own battle was just beginning. How could I go home? How could I face the families of boys like Thomas? I couldn't, so I stayed. I helped Helene rebuild her farm. I learned to plow the fields, to mend fences, to live with the ghosts of my past. I never wore a uniform again. I was never celebrated as a hero. My name isn't in any history books. I was just Arthur, the boy who ran. But in the quiet life I built from the ashes of my cowardice, in the shadow of a French farmhouse, I found a different kind of peace. Not the peace of a victory parade, but the quiet, fragile peace of a survivor. And for me, that was enough. Thank you for watching this story. If you've been touched by this journey, consider subscribing to our channel for more content that explores the hidden corners of history. We'll see you in the next one.